on the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean,
What do you mean by that?
certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing, I mean, it's that type of ideological thing.
I never really talk about left or right.
Anyways, a lot of people
don't really believe in that.
Okay, a lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
like who?
I don't know who, but
well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody.
Okay, I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not
just
sure.
wondering.
I don't know what your question is.
Then forget that. Why should Canadians trust you with their vote?
Common sense.
Okay.
Common sense for a change. We're going to make common sense common in this country. We don't have any common sense in the current government. The guy prints $600 billion, grows our money supply by 32% in 3 years. That's growing the money 8 times faster than the economy. No wonder we have the worst inflation in 4 decades. I'm going to cap spending, cut waste, so that we can balance the budget and bring down inflation and interest rates. You'll want to be able to pay your mortgage again? You want to be able to afford rent? Then you have to vote for Pierre Poilievre, because I'm the only one with a common sense plan that will bring back the buying power of your paycheck.
I'm just going to send, Olivia, I'm going to send you a story. I just put it in the Slack channel there. I think that reporter was not identified, but if you click on the story that I just sent you, I think that's where it was taken. You can see this is from a few days ago in British Columbia, and you can see that's what he was wearing, right? Pierre Poilievre? I think he was wearing that outfit, and he's standing in front of an apple orchard. So I think it's pretty clearly that's where it was. And if you scroll down, and if you look at who wrote the story, you see it says Don Urquhart there. And then click on his name. You see where it says photo, Don Urquhart. Yeah, click on that. And then you should get, just click on that there and just show that. That's him, right? He was wearing a hat. So I think we found out that that's Don Urquhart from the Times Chronicle, which is a Kelowna outlet. Castanet is sort of the chain. Times Chronicle in Kelowna, Don Urquhart. So I think we found the mystery of who that is. So let's go back and read the story. Because he both took the photo, and as you can see right under the headline, he's the byline for the story. Pierre Poilievre was in town Wednesday, capping the visit off with a rally in Oliver. Let's read a little bit. I have actually not read this before. I just want to see. Olivia, are you curious how that reporter reported things, given how Pierre Poilievre so calmly ate an apple and ate his lunch? Take a look. Official opposition and Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre vowed to take on colleges of physicians and surgeons along with any other hurdles to getting immigrant doctors rapidly licensed and practicing in Canada. Poilievre made the comments to the Times Chronicle in Oliver after meeting this week with fruit growers from the area. I'm going to skip ahead because they're talking about a particular proposal. Okay, and then he gets to when asked why Canadians should trust him with their votes, given his demonstrable track record of flip-flopping on key issues. And what some consider his use of polarizing, ideologically infused rhetoric, suggesting he simply takes pages out of the Donald Trump populist playbook, Poilievre became acerbic. Ultimately, the answer was common sense. We're going to make common sense common in this country. We don't have any common sense anymore. Is that an accurate reflection of the conversation we just saw? Again and again and again, this guy, Don Urquhart, put to Poilievre, oh, you're just taking a page out of Donald Trump. I don't even think he accused him of flip-flopping. I think that was just injected later here. So you saw that gorgeous back and forth. And acerbic sort of means like a little bit sharp and a little bit, what exactly is the definition of acerbic? Sharp and forthright, tasting sour or bitter. Maybe, but I think Pierre Poilievre was pretty calm, and I think eating the apple was just the perfect touch. I don't think Poilievre came across as aggressive or hostile. He asked very basic questions to a very dopey reporter who said, a lot of people say, and Poilievre said, well, who said that? Whenever a reporter says, a lot of people say, some pundits wonder, some critics say, they're just saying, I think, but they don't have the courage, or they know it sounds awful to say, I think you're like Donald Trump. And was it 3 times there? Poilievre said, give me an example. Who says that? What did I do? And the reason why Don Urquhart came across so stupid is because he knew that he was the guy writing the story, so he would hide his stupidity. But it's a bit of a miracle we had that video. I don't know who was recording that video. Maybe it was Poilievre's own staff, which was great if it was, because now we know the difference between what really happened and what Don Urquhart said happened. Let me just read that part again. It's just so gorgeous here. Let me just find it there. I just got to find the part where sorry, I'm jumping around a bit. When asked why Canadians should trust him with their votes, given his demonstrable track record of flip-flopping on key issues, was he actually asked that, Olivia? I don't think he was. I don't think so. I think he was just talking about Donald Trump, populist, right-wing, left-wing. I've watched that clip 3 times. I can tell you there's nothing in there about flip-flopping. The reporter is the one who put Donald Trump in again and again, right-wing, left-wing, ideological, polarizing. So the reporter was the guy putting all those bait words there. And Poilievre said, well, can you give me an example of that? Or says who? Or name me one? Or give me an example? Or you're the guy who said it. And Urquhart just absolutely fell apart and couldn't do it. And so he moved on because he knew that he was the guy who was going to write the story. So he would just have a revised history. Don Urquhart lied about what happened, and we wouldn't know about it if we weren't there to see it. He said, when asked why Canadians should trust him with their votes, given his demonstrable track record of flip-flopping on key issues, and what some consider his use of polarizing, ideologically infused rhetoric, suggesting he simply takes pages out of the Donald Trump populist playbook, Pierre Poilievre became acerbic. Ultimately, the answer was common sense. Hang on. Ultimately, why are you leaving out the 2 minutes where he asked you to prove that premise? Let me read that one more time, and then can you play that clip again? Because I want to show you what a wicked liar this Don Urquhart is, what a dishonest and unethical reporter he is. When asked why Canadians should trust him with their votes, okay, that's always a good question, given his demonstrable, so it's not just an allegation, it's demonstrated that he's a flip-flopper, what some consider his use of polarizing, ideologically infused rhetoric, suggesting he simply takes pages out of the Donald Trump populist playbook. Holy crap, who even says that other than some kook? But why don't you put what the guy said in response 3-4 times? He said, what are you talking about? Give me an example. Says who? Name one. Poilievre became acerbic. Ultimately, the answer was common sense. Hang on. You left out everything he said. Here, play that again. Play that. I just read for you twice what this wicked liar said happened. Now take a look at what really happened.
on the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean,
What do you mean by that?
certainly
Give me an
you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological stuff.
I never really talk about left or right.
Anyways,
I don't really believe in that.
Okay. A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
Like who?
I don't know who, but
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
you must know somebody.
Okay, I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
What are you
also,
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not
just
sure.
wondering.
I don't know what your question
Okay,
is.
then forget that. Why should Canadians trust you with their vote?
Common sense.
Okay.
Common sense.
Okay, wrap it up there.
For a change.
But you see the dishonesty of the news article that he ran in the end. He did not justify his accusation of Donald Trump this, populist that. He didn't show that Poilievre challenged that, but he put his weird ideological attack question in full, skipped Poilievre's answers, and said Poilievre became acerbic. Okay, well, maybe you could call, in fact, I would call that acerbic, but how about let us see what was acerbic instead of just telling us it was acerbic? You can't, because it would expose that you're such a hack, such a wicked liar. That is so weird. And I can tell you that happens all the time. And I'm very pleased that Pierre Poilievre pushed back on that. And I'm hopeful that that's a sign of things to come. Because knowing that the media are not your friend is half the battle. And I know this from past Conservative leaders. Stephen Harper was generally firm with the media. He wasn't that mean to them, and he wasn't that friendly. I think he took the right approach. Andrew Scheer was absolutely terrified by the media. He would do anything they said. And Aaron O'Toole didn't even have a difference of opinion with the media. He was going to do what they said anyways, because that's what he believed. And in the case of Andrew Scheer, which I think was actually the worst of the two, I think Andrew Scheer actually believed that if he was nice to the media, they would be nice to him. Because remember, Andrew Scheer came from being the Speaker of the House for years. He had never fought a hard battle. He had never had a tough campaign. He had never, really, when you are the Speaker of the House, you're not engaged in any debates. You're not doing any difficult scrums. You don't even vote other than to break a tie. You're not even going to caucus meetings because that's too partisan. You are really a ceremonial and luxurious position in the House. So Andrew Scheer, his entire political training was being friendly and diplomatic, and everyone would bow and curtsy to him. And he had the huge budget of what they call the Board of Internal Economy, which is basically it used to be $250 million. I bet it's $500 million now just to run Parliament. So Andrew Scheer truly believed that if he was nice to someone, they would be nice to him. He didn't understand these are government journalists, in the CBC mainly, but all the journalists are hostile. He didn't understand it. Pierre Poilievre understood him. And you could see he understood it because he didn't grant the premise of the question to some dopey guy. And I presume that was Poilievre's own camera. I just presume it was. Because holy mackerel, did that make Don Urquhart look like the idiot that he is.
Hey folks, that was a clip from the daily live stream. I co-host it Monday to Thursday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Alberta team takes over on Friday. Please tune in. And by the way, we want to hear your 2 cents worth. If you're able to make a minimal $5 donation, we will read your chat on the air live. Thank you.
Do you want to start feeling like your pre-COVID self again? You're not alone. The wellness company's Spike Support Formula is an all-natural supplement to help people do just that. It was created by cardiologist Peter McCullough and his expert team of doctors to help the people experiencing effects from COVID and the you-know-what.
Go to twc.health/rebel today.